Welcome to the Retro Monthly Vinyl Record Subscription Box, and it's April's box here today, or mailer if you will. Here it is. It's not come in the trademark Retro Let the Music Play logo mailer, but I know it's from the Retro because it's got a little Retro sticker on the front there, and also it's got the Retro's address up there in Glasgow, Scotland on the mailing label as well. Right, so before we get going opening this one and finding out what 3 records April has got in store for me, let's take a look back at all 3 of March's picks. There we are. It's inconsistency to a T, really. If you remember, February's was, for me, my best box yet out of all these months of subscribing to the Retro. And then we go from the best box ever to the worst. Just not a very good month, March, at all. Smurs wasn't very good. The Visionist was awful. That was one of the worst things I've got. In fact, you saw the score 2.5 out of 10. I've actually marked that up half a point because I liked the white vinyl record that it came on. Otherwise, that would have been a 2 out of 10. But I thought, you know what? I'm going to give it an extra half a point for how it looks, but it sounds absolutely rotten. And Tune Yards was above average. There was a couple of half-decent tracks on there, but not really to my taste overall. Yeah, I'm really hoping that this month is a massive improvement. If you want to get a Retro Vinyl Club subscription box, then just put the code Jimmy Barnes in. When you begin your subscription, you'll get 20% off, not just for your first month, but for every month thereafter, while ever you're a Retro subscription club member. On we go with April's selections. Always an exciting time of the month. Although March's wasn't very good, obviously I didn't know until I'd listened to the albums what it would be like, because I wasn't familiar with any of the artists. Kind of hoping I get at least one thing that I'm familiar with here. Try not to look too much. And we've got the usual glossy letter / flyer that says "Hello April." I will attempt to read that later on. Let's just pick the first one that comes off the top. It feels new and sealed. And this is... oh, right. Interesting. It's like a musical soundtrack. Girl from the North Country. Music and lyrics by Bob Dylan. Written by Conor McPherson. Oh, right. And it says at the bottom, original London cast recording. So there's the back of it. Yeah, so it's going to be some sort of musical. It's on the Sony Music label. My dad was a massive Bob Dylan fan. He even had bootlegs that used to show me, like proper 1960s live bootlegs in his collection back when I was younger. Has Bob Dylan even released an album in some years? I don't know. I've got no idea about this. I've never heard of it. I like to keep my ear to the ground and my finger on the pulse, as it were, as to what goes on in the music scene. I'm not a musical fan under normal circumstances. There's arguably 1 or 2 exceptions to that rule. I've no idea about this. Yeah, there's certainly some Bob Dylan tracks I recognise on here. Lay Lady Lay Down Your Weary Tune. I think that's Dylan again. Well, I mean, they're all going to be Dylan, more or less. Conor McPherson, that name rings a bell as well. I I don't know how to feel about that, really. I might end up enjoying it. It might turn me on to a musical that I've not heard of, and that normally I would probably dismiss out of hand, but there we are. First pull is the original cast recording, Girl from the North Country. Unusual, that. I don't know what that's going to fit into. Bob Dylan's folk. So whether this is going to be folky or musicals, for me, it's all sort of bombast and kind of cheese and campy stuff, but that might be completely different. Right then, on we go. Pull number 2. This is, I think that's Quam by Helena Hauff. Looks like it's got some scores or some ratings from somewhere. No, that might actually just be the catalogue number rather than any review scores. So yeah, this is, I'm guessing, as a lot of these tend to be, this is going to be like experimental electronica, maybe ambient, neoclassical. I do seem to get a lot of that. Sadly, a lot of it isn't to my taste. Sometimes it is. I've had a couple of good pulls in that vein, but on the whole, and certainly last month, Smurs and Visionist, neither of those I found very good, which was a shame really, especially with the Visionist, as it being a Mute Records artist. I was expecting good things, and it turned out to be perhaps one of the worst, if not the worst album I've pulled so far. So yeah, I can't speak on that. I may end up enjoying it. You'll know next month when I give it its score. But that is Helena Hauff, I believe. And I think that says Quam up there in the corner. Right, last pull. I'm kind of hoping for something that's very familiar, or fairly familiar, but we got 3 ones that I had no idea about last month, and none of them I would recommend. Tune Yards was the best of a bad bunch, but let's see what number 3 in April is. It's quite a thin one. Feels new and sealed again. Alright, this is Seams Quarters. I don't know if Seams is the band and Quarters is the album name, or vice versa. It's another one I'm not familiar with. For some reason, someone's trying to call me now. It's okay. Yeah, it's weird how my old iPad still picks up my actual phone calls for my mobile, but at least it didn't interrupt the... I don't think it interrupted the recording. Right, yeah, Seams Quarters. I can't speak on this. So this month, it's another potentially dodgy month. It does worry me a little bit now, actually. I've been really enjoying the retro vinyl subscription box overall ever since I started being their customer last year, and I do get it on a discount, as you know, and that's a discount that is available to anyone who wishes to avail of it. But I don't want to keep getting all these records that I don't like. If I like these, then great, you know, they'll go in the collection, or even if I only like one of them, then I consider that a win for the price that I pay for the subscription. March's pulls weren't very good. This month's pulls, I haven't heard of them. I'm not feeling overly optimistic, but I'd love to be proved wrong, and you'll find that out next month. But I think if this month isn't very strong, then it might be kind of last chance saloon time a little bit for the retro and me. I might give it till next month, and then if next month doesn't look very good, then that might be the end, but I don't know. We're going to have to see. Friends of mine have also quit their retro subscriptions because they've not been overly satisfied with what they've got, and I do understand that. I think to a point you've got to kind of take the rough with the smooth with something like this. It's a mystery box. Yes, you've got your genre picks and everything, but they can only send what's in stock at that point in the month. And categorising some acts into certain genres isn't always easy either. So I do give the retro and Pete, who runs the company, a lot of leeway in that respect. My tastes are very varied, yet I seem to be getting a lot of this weird experimental stuff, most of which I'm not that fond of. We'll see, but I'll definitely be back next month with at least one more box, and you never know, I might end up enjoying 1, 2 or all 3 of these records today. But thank you all for watching. Hope you've enjoyed this month's retro unboxing. I want to say special thanks, as always, to my wonderful subscribers and generous patrons. Don't forget the link for the retro, where you can get 20% off with the code Jimmy Barnes. That's in the description text box, as is my Patreon link, my Facebook group link, a link for contents insurance, and much, much else. I'm going to go now, and which to listen to first? The Dylan musical, that was weird, could end up being my favourite pull of the month, or the Helena What's-Her-Face, or the Quarters thing. three more that are kind of baffling and I'm unfamiliar with, but it's going to be interesting and always exciting to sit and listen to those. And I do hope that all of you will join me again next month for May's Retro Vinyl Club Mystery Box Unboxing. Cheers, everyone. See ya!